Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, December 18th, 2022. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have a cold front stretching all the way from North Atlantic all the way down into portions of the Bahamas, Florida, as well as the western tip of Cuba. And we also have another cold front stretching all the way from northeastern portions of the North Atlantic, which has induced a trough all the way down into portions of the eastern Caribbean, stretching all the way over into portions of the central Caribbean. And if we actually take a look back at the satellite images, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front, bringing some cloud cover, showers and thunderstorms to portions of the very same areas that were just mentioned, the Bahamas, Florida, Cuba, maybe even portions of Mexico and Belize as well. We can also see the clouds associated with that second cold front, which has induced the trough, and we can see the clouds associated with that trough affecting portions of the Leeward Islands, as well as making their way into portions of the Central Caribbean, so south of Puerto Rico, south of Hispaniola, and maybe soon to be Jamaica later on this week. Alright, so let us bring our focus to the weather across Jamaica for this evening. So we can see where for today we had, just as predicted yesterday, clouds across portions of eastern, central and western Jamaica. So we had that buildup of clouds especially in inland areas of central and western Jamaica, and we can actually see that we still had some amount of isolated showers across portions of Westmoreland in the evening hours. And if you actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can see where the actual rainfall was for the entire day. So we had rain across portions of eastern, central and western Jamaica, especially inland areas of central and western Jamaica, especially on the north coast, and the occasional rainfall across portions of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. Alright, so let us take a look at the temperature across the island for tonight. We can see where we have 25 degrees Celsius in Golden Grove in St. Thomas, 22 degrees Celsius in Sherwood Content in Trelawney, 25 degrees Celsius in Lucy, 23 degrees Celsius in Balaclava and St. Elizabeth, and 24 degrees Celsius in Ocho Rios. And the future temperatures for tomorrow, we can see we're going to be in the average amount of temperatures on the Euro, so not too drastic with all the oranges or reds, so maybe average or above average rainfall as shown by both the Euro and the GFS models. And if you actually take a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow, according to the Euro, we're going to be seeing some amount of easterly wind across the island. Where does all the air pile up? Where do we have the blues, the darkest blues, to signal less wind? So we're going to be having 10 to 20 knot winds across the island. But look at Westmoreland, look at western Jamaica. That's where you have the least amount of wind tomorrow. So we might have all the air piling up in the afternoon hours, bringing some amount of rainfall to portions of western Jamaica. However, the GFS model is showing something a bit different. Look at this. We're having a kind of northeasterly flow across the island for tomorrow, according to the GFS. Some of that wind coming in from the Windward Passage, that's the area between Cuba and Haiti right there. So we might have some amount of relief rainfall across portions of northeastern Jamaica. So it makes sense that when we look at the forecast for tomorrow, both the Euro and the GFS model are showing some amount of blues across portions of northern and eastern Jamaica. And we know that that's going to bring some amount of relief rainfall. What's the time? 10 a.m. on Monday. Not to mention spilling into portions of 11 a.m. as well. And then in the afternoon, just as predicted, rainfall is going to be expected across portions of western Jamaica. That's 4 p.m. We see some blues across western Jamaica on the Euro. Same thing on the GFS. And we know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are higher. So yes, we're going to be receiving some amount of rainfall across the island for tomorrow. Mainly isolated rainfall as the accumulated precipitation shows. And it makes sense that the workers here with the Jamaica made a post stating that we would receive some amount of isolated rainfall tomorrow, affecting portions of northeastern Jamaica in the morning and then in the afternoon across western Jamaica. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across the island. Let us talk about the rest of the Caribbean, shall we? So as stated, yes, we have those clouds associated with that trough across portions of the Caribbean, And if we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images, let's bring this down all the way into the Caribbean. We can see all those greens, and this Doppler radar image is starting from after 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we see all the rainfall associated with that trough affecting portions of those areas that were predicted to receive it. So portions of Guadeloupe, the Leeward Islands, sections of Puerto Rico as well, getting in on some of the rainfall, even up to recording hours. See, coming up all the way up into the evening hours to this time when we're recording right now. So definitely rainfall for that portion of the Caribbean. Let's take a look at the other Doppler radar images. So as stated, with the satellite images, we saw some rainfall across portions of Mexico as well as Belize, getting into portions of Guatemala as well. And we can also see that we have some amount of rainfall affecting portions of Guyana as well as French Guyana as well at this time. Let's talk about the wind forecast for tomorrow. We can see we're going to be having some form of easterly wind, let's say 10 to 20 or 25 knots across the entire Caribbean. Very strong winds to the south of Jamaica, affecting portions of the northern coastline of Colombia as usual, and it's the same thing that is being shown across the GFS model as well. So if we actually take a look at the precipitation forecast for tomorrow, that trough is going to be doing a number on the Leeward Islands. So we have some amount of rainfall to receive all the way up to 10 p.m. on Monday, stretching all the way into the central Caribbean, maybe even making it to portions of Honduras and Nicaragua, as well as the southern Caribbean. So portions of maybe eastern Trinidad, portions of Venezuela, portions of Panama, Colombia, as well as Costa Rica getting in on some amount of rainfall. And the GFS model is showing something similar, a bit more robust with the amount of rainfall that's expected. It is showing up to 1 inch of rain to the south of Hispaniola. So most of that rainfall is expected to be passing south of most of the islands of the Greater Antilles. And the same areas that were stated a while ago, so Venezuela, portions of Guyana, portions of Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras still expected to receive rainfall. We know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually raining in those spots are higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you all for watching.